So this just might be the best online business opportunity in 2024 because it allows you to monetize other people's expert knowledge into an online course and online program. Now, you might be thinking, I know nothing about online courses. I know nothing about how this works. So we're going to jump into my screen over here and I'm going to break all of this down for you. And I'm going to show you the exact strategies that I have used to partner with other experts and handle all of their marketing and back end and front end systems for a percentage of course sales to build long-term relationships that net me six figures in income year over year. So let's jump into the screen. We'll break down the exact process. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. So let's jump into how this works, how you can monetize other people's knowledge for six-figure income in the new year. I truly do believe this is one of the easiest, lowest barrier to entry online business models in 2024. My name is Mark Cloutier. I'm a seven-figure online course creator. I've sold over $2.6 million in courses over the past few years. Some of these are from my own courses, but the bulk of this revenue comes from partnering with experts to help them sell their courses, and I'm going to show you how I do that here. So what does this look like? The goal of this is that you and the expert become the solution to each other's problems. So you over here, what you will be responsible for is building out the funnels and automations, all the back-end systems, the paid ads, and the email and SMS, and the overall marketing strategy. Now, don't worry if you're not good at any of this stuff or don't know how to do any of this stuff. I will tell you some great resources that can teach you all this. And there's also so much content here on the YouTube channel, and some videos should be popping up here on the top of the screen that will go further into detail. Now, your problem is that you have the skills to create a course, but not the knowledge, credibility, or following to launch one profitably at the speed you would like. Then over here, we have the expert. So this could be someone who's an expert in real estate, in fitness, in disc golf, in marketing, whatever it is, and they have the credibility in their industry. They may or may not have a following. It helps if they do. And they're going to be primarily responsible for creating the course content and overall being the face of the brand. They'll be the face in the ads, the face in the community, all that stuff. Now, their problem is they have the knowledge, credibility, and budget, but not the skill set or the time to learn the skill set. So as we can see, you complement each other perfectly. Everything that they need and don't have, you have, and vice versa. That's why it's a perfect partnership. Now, real quick, if you don't have these skills that you will need, there's some great resources here to learn them. First of all, is here on the YouTube channel. I've got playlists for online course creation, for funnel guides, for HighLevel, which is the software we use, and for Facebook ads. And then over here, if you scan this QR code, this is not an affiliate link, by the way. This is just a course I love that's been so valuable to me. And we'll talk about how you can actually make your money back on this course in just a couple slides. But scan here and you can check out Course Creator Pro. In my opinion, by far the best online course for creating online courses, as ironic as that sounds. And then down here, if you want to scan this, you can actually get access to my completely free funnel and automation bootcamp, completely professionally edited video guides here, PDFs, funnels, templates, all of this stuff where you can learn how to build out the funnels and automations that I use to do all of this stuff I do here for myself and my clients. So how do you find an expert? You might be thinking, this sounds great, but I don't know any experts. Well, there's three primary ways that I use. The first is Facebook groups. So that's how I ended up partnering with Nathan Larson here. He is a YouTuber that teaches home studio music production. As you can see, he's got a good following of over 200K subscribers. He found me in a Facebook group that we'll talk about here in a minute. The next way is your current client list. So if you are an agency owner or a marketer or a freelancer, you probably have clients that would love to monetize their knowledge, but don't know how. That's how I met this gentleman here, Rob Stein. He is a top producing real estate agent. I helped him build out all of his course systems. And then DM and email. That's how Power Disc Golf Academy was started. So the director of operations for Power DGA, my friend David, he wanted to get better at disc golf, but there was no online program. So he started messaging some different pros about partnering together and creating a course. And I handle all of the marketing, backend systems, funnels, everything we talked about for this program. So multiple ways to make that happen. And a pro tip here is join programs like Course Creator Pro, which we talked about a few slides ago. And if you purchase that program and you leverage their community, this is a great place to find clients. So when you see people asking questions, go ahead and share your knowledge, share value, answer their questions, get them in the DMs, nurture them, whatever it is, just add value. Now, make sure to do this respectfully. Always lead with value and lift up the admins and the creators there in the group and give them their fair credit. This is supposed to be a win-win. You are not trying to take advantage of the group that they are creating because they're the ones running the paid ads and building this group, but If you have real knowledge and value to share, and especially results, right? We can see anytime we have good results for a course, I go ahead and drop it in here. These are just a few of the many, many posts I've made. And every time I do this, I get comments, I get DMs, I get people wanting to work with me. But the key here is that I'm always reflecting positively on Course Creator Pro, giving them their credit. So it's a win-win. They can use these screenshots in their marketing material as social proof. They can get more sales. I can get more clients. Again, it's a great partnership. So make sure if you're going to do this, you do it right. And also, video should be popping up here where I'll talk more in detail about this strategy. So let's get down to business, right? There are many ways you can set up your partnership with your expert, but there are only two models that I personally use, and those are business partnerships and contractor partnerships. So a business partnership is just what it sounds. It's a legal business partnership. So you're going to create a new legal business entity, and you're each going to have equity and ownership in that business. You're going to share profits and losses. You're both liable for suits in the event that anything happens, God forbid. You share the tax burden and anything that comes with owning a business. If you've owned a business before, you're going to know all of the pros and cons. If you haven't, well, you'll figure those out when you start your first business. Now, in this model, you're going to get paid via profit share. And the second model is a contractor partnership. You do not own any equity in the venture and business. You have a contract in place that determines your terms. You're not liable for suit. You don't have the tax burden. You get paid even if the course is losing money, because in this model, you're getting paid via revenue share. We'll talk about profit share versus revenue share in just a couple slides. Now, each of these models have pros and cons, just like everything else in life. So with the business partnership, some of the biggest pros are you have ownership. This is actually your business. And at least for me, when I have true ownership of something, I'm always going to work harder on it because it's my baby and I have ownership. You cannot be fired, right? The only way you're going to be out of the business is if the business goes under, or you agree to sell, or you agree to leave with your partner. You're building equity. So if you sell your business down the road and sell your course, you get to cash out. Now, the cons are you take on all the risk. Again, there's risk that comes with owning a business. You take on the tax and legal burdens. It's a much longer process to start because you have to get things like an operating agreement in place, which requires attorneys and lawyers. There's going to be legal fees. It's a much bigger process. If you've ever started a business that is a partnership with other owners, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And like I said before, if you haven't, you're going to find out quick that starting a multi-owner and multi-partner business is a process and definitely comes with expenses. Now, it's also a much harder sell to the experts. It's one thing to come along and say, I'd love to come on as a contractor and help you leverage your knowledge. It's another thing to come along and have a business proposition. In my experience, this is only going to work when you're much more established. For me personally, I have an established track record of success with 6- and 7-figure courses. I'm well known in a lot of these communities, so it's easier for me to pitch a partnership. When I first started, I never even thought about pitching a partnership, so keep that in mind. Now, even to this day, most of my deals are contractor partnerships. And the pros there are no real risk, you have more freedom, it's much easier to sell, and you get that revenue share versus that profit share. Now, the con is no true ownership, you can be fired, and it's a client relationship versus a partner relationship. Now, that being said, you can still take ownership here. If you are really involved and have a great relationship, then you can still take total ownership. If you are worried about being fired, we're going to talk about in a few slides how you can not have to worry about that, because this is not something I'm ever worried about, and there's reasons for that. And it's a client relationship versus a partner relationship. Again, if you build a good relationship over the months and years with your clients, this will slowly turn into more of a partner mentality, and you can even talk about a partnership down the road. So profit share versus revenue share. A profit share is you split profits based upon your agreed percentages. If the course grosses $10,000 in a month, so that's you make $10,000 a month before expenses, but your expenses are $5,000 a month, you split the remaining $5,000. So this is gross versus net, right? You have your gross of $10,000, and then you have your expenses, subtract the $5,000, you netted $5,000 after you took away the $5,000 expenses, and that's what you're going to split. So at a 50-50 split, you would take home $2,500. A revenue share, you take your cut of the gross revenue before expenses. If the course grosses, so total number before expenses, $10,000 in a month, and your expenses are $5,000, and you have a 15% revenue share, you take home $1,500. If you have a 50-50 split, you take home $5,000. Now, how should you split it? Unfortunately, there's no black and white answer here, as there are many factors that come into play. Factors like who your expert is, what groundwork have they already set, do they have a large following already, what are your expenses and operating costs, etc. For example, that guy talked about Nathan Larson. He already had a course when I came on. So I'm not going to come in and try to take 50% of his business that he's already built. I came on and I took it to another level, but it was at a much smaller percent than 50%, and that was on the revenue share side. So for a profit share, I'm typically going to ask for 35 to 50%, but don't let this larger number fool you. I typically actually make more money on my revenue share deals. And for revenue share, it's typically anywhere between 10 to 15%. But you're going to need to figure out what works and what makes the most sense based on a lot of factors and discussion with your partner and expert. So to top things off here, we've got a couple frequently asked questions that I get from a lot of people who ask me about how I manage this sort of business. And the first question is, in a contract partnership, how do I make sure I don't get fired after I lay the foundation and get the course sales coming in? A lot of people are worried, hey, I do all the work, I get the course profitable, and then they say, see you later, I no longer want to split profits with you. Well, the short answer is you don't. The reality is you can be fired anytime in a contractor-based relationship, or at least based on the terms of your contract. So you may have like a no-fire clause within the first year or 6 months, whatever that is. Oftentimes, I will do something like the first 6 to 12 months. However, if you're doing a good job and doing your job right, this should not be a concern. I have no concern that any of my clients will let me go, and that's because I know I do a really good job, and I know that what I get paid is much less than the money that I make them, and that's how it should be. So it's a total no-brainer for them to keep me on. Their ROI on me is huge. Now, one thing you can do as well, if you're worried about this, is charge a setup fee. So anytime I do a contractor-based relationship, I charge a setup fee to build out the initial sales funnels. Typically, that's around $5,000. And then after that, I start getting whatever my revenue or profit share is. Next question is, what if I lowballed the expert just to get the deal, and now I feel like I'm not making as much as I should? Well, you can have terms in your contract or operating agreement that state that your structure can be reevaluated on a yearly or whatever term basis, or you can do this based on performance. Now, keep in mind that yearly reevaluation can go both ways. They might say, hey, we're giving you 50%, but we realize that you're not doing a very good job, so we want to drop you down to 25%. Or it could work in your favor, and you say, hey, I'm at 15%, but I feel like I'm not getting paid fairly. I'd like to go up to 25%. Now, the easiest way to do this, and this is typically what I'll put in my contracts, are target KPI incentives. So I would say, hey, if we hit this revenue goal in the first year, I'm going to get X amount as a bonus, or X% as a bonus, or my revenue share is going to increase by X% next month, assuming we stay on this track. So a lot of different stuff you can do there. The last thing you want is to feel like you're getting taken advantage of, so make sure to protect yourself there, but also keep in mind that you want to protect and treat your partner fairly. Now, finally, what can I do to ensure I don't get let go? The easiest answer is just get results. Be proactive and go above and beyond. And honestly, one thing that's really easy to do that goes a long way is get things done fast. When a client hits me up and they need me to do something, I get it done fast. And I hear this so many times from my clients that they're just blown away. Man, I just texted you about this or emailed you about this 2 hours ago and it's already done. Stuff like that goes a long way. And if you can set yourself apart and go above and beyond and be a true asset to the expert, you really shouldn't have to worry about getting let go. So that's it. Really simple. This is a 30,000 foot overview here. If you have any questions, you can drop them down below. And here are some codes for some resources that you can access. So this first one is a 30-day trial of Course Creator 360. This is the software that I use for all of the course hosting and all of the marketing. There'll be a video that'll pop up here that'll show you why I use this and break down how it works. And my 30-day bootcamp, you can get that totally free, or not 30-day rather, but Funnel Bootcamp is going to teach you everything about building funnels and automations. And then Course Creator Pro, you can check out their site. It's a good investment in my opinion, and like I said, if you take advantage of that Facebook group, you can definitely get clients there. And that's the process right there. If you need any help, hit the comments, ask any questions. I will answer every single one. There's also going to be some links in the description for some resources, both paid and free, that can help you out. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.